No niin, olemme kuulleet arvokkaita puheenvuoroja.
We've now heard
Tähän
valuable insights.
Haluamme sitten vielä vähän kertoa lisää Sitran
To end our seminar, we would like to say a few words about Sitra's energy program and to present our team so that it's easier for you to get in touch with us. Very briefly about our program, just a few words. The energy program tries to increase energy efficiency in mainly built environment, people's possibilities of participating in energy saving work in a sensible way, and also for utilizing rapidly emerging and growing business opportunities. We're interested in existing building stock, we're interested in new building stock, traffic, people and business. This is a 5-year program. We budgeted approximately 25 to 30 million euro to it. When you add funding from our partners, hopefully, at least in equal amounts, hopefully we will be able to achieve something with the program. I would like to emphasize that we're not the only ones operating in this field and sector. The sustainable infrastructure program of Tekes is especially important for us. I would like to introduce our team to you. May I ask members of our energy program team to join me here? So that I can introduce us to you. Perhaps you could let us know who's who. Over here we have Elina Auri, who's our program assistant. Tuula Laitinen is responsible for communications. Sami Tuhkanen for venture capital investments. Seppo Junnila is responsible for built environment and energy efficiency. Then we have the citizens, and Mr. Kåberger is responsible for business development, and Mr. Lahti for everyday life and energy efficiency. If we could first look at our history. Mrs. Auri has given us some light on what's been done so far, but Elina, could you tell us more about what Sitra has done in the field of energy before? During its history, Sitra has been involved in 30 different energy-related studies, the majority of which have been carried out at the turn of the 70s and 80s. This being, of course, a direct reaction to the energy crisis in the 70s. What's interesting to note is that many of the same topics were discussed then as we are talking about now, renewable energies and energy efficiency. Also, Anne Törnros is involved. Anne is our assistant and works in other duties in the program. We've networked within Sitra. We have venture capital experts supporting our venture capital activities, and from the innovation side, we have help that are networked in strategic processes. Mr. Junnila is responsible for built environment and energy efficiency. Mr. Junnila has worked as a consultant in the sector and has carried out research in Berkeley, United States, prepared his PhD thesis there. A thesis focused on life cycle issues of construction and building, and has also worked at the Helsinki University of Technology. Seppo, challenges and future, how do you see them? Refurbishment of old buildings and building of new buildings, both of which have been discussed today. This is a very interesting phenomenon. At the turn of the year when I got involved in this, it seemed that both sectors need motivation and drive and even push. But now I've noticed that many actors in building sector have welcomed the challenge at their own initiative, and perhaps challenges in that area are not big enough to require our input, because we of course want to get involved in the difficult and challenging areas, and the refurbishment of old buildings and improving energy efficiency of old buildings. That is the area that is the most challenging at the moment. Could you give us some examples of the projects that the program is kicking off at this initial stage? You mean in refurbishment of old buildings? In construction overall? Well, we have identified good projects in that area. A lot is going on, and of course we want to be in many of them and helping. For example, a small project, but we hope it will have an inspiring impact, is a low energy program. We want to support low energy houses, and we want to create at least one guideline or norm that is not necessarily categorical or standard, but at least create something. Good. Today we've also announced that we will be kicking off a cooperation project with municipalities. The energy company of the city of Porvoo and Sitra Oy, together with us, are now preparing a joint venture. We're looking at design of energy efficiency in town planning from the initial stages. We're also looking at business opportunities of power generation companies, and developing opportunities in a new residential area with approximately 1,000 inhabitants. Sitra Oy is bringing in new technologies enabling steering and monitoring of energy use, even on an apartment and user-specific basis. It's the first project of its kind, and it's been recently kicked off. We're also starting an international comparison on energy efficiency operations in different countries. It's currently under competitive bidding process. It's related to the Energy Efficiency Working Committee that operates under the auspices of the Ministry of Employment and the Economy. Mr. Lahti holds a PhD in environmental sociology. He's responsible for everyday life and energy efficiency in this program. What are you planning to do in terms of consumers and energy efficiency? Well, naturally we want to encourage consumers to save energy, and we want to find opportunities how consumers can favor energy efficient solutions. Professor Heinonen talked about eco-intelligent way of life. Changes in people's way of life are a long-term goal. We can see here the risk that is caused by climate change as an opportunity for changing our way of life. We don't look at it as purely negative, we see it as an opportunity as well. Thank you. Then Mr. Kåberger. You are the creator of pre-seed funding and pre-seed operations and an expert in startup funding. Commercialization of research findings is, of course, nothing new for public operators. What would you say about this question from our perspective, our program's perspective? All presentations today have talked about dramatic change in energy, in the field of energy. This can be a start of a new era for energy here in Finland and in Europe. It's a very conservative sector, very little or very few new companies or spin-offs, at least based on research. Research is directed towards bigger corporations and benefiting bigger corporations. But we want to identify entities from this flow of research that may point at a new future upcoming markets. We want to direct business intelligence and measures on those areas at much earlier stage than we're currently doing, especially applying sciences. And business development should go hand in hand and not following each other as we've done so far. That's the only way of getting to emerging markets early enough, taking advantage of that window of opportunity. I'm sure that our role is to be a sparring partner for businesses. Risto, you cooperate with Mr. Tuhkanen, who is responsible for our venture capital investments, together with our venture capital team, of course. Venture capital team of Sitra. Sami is an expert in technology, but has been involved in Sitra's energy program for 3 years in the same duties. Sami, what would you say? What sorts of funding opportunities Sitra can offer for companies operating in this area? Yes, capital investment, venture capital investment is our tool, and we apply it in energy sector. We try to find companies in the field of energy efficiency, clean tech, energy transmission, distribution. We're very interested in innovations in these areas. We're looking at growth companies that have the opportunity to grow and the will to grow, and companies that are heading towards international markets. In addition to funding, we want to offer expertise for their board of directors and in the form of our networks, so that in addition to money, we will be able to generate new competence to support the entrepreneurs or team of entrepreneurs. We want to be a partner and a support for the entrepreneurs to help their business to grow and succeed. Do you cooperate with others, or are you the sole investor? No, we're very interested in cooperation. We're very interested in cooperating with private investors, business angels, and if necessary, we can also make investments by ourselves. Mrs. Laitinen is our communications and business partner contacts manager. We are developing a portal. Would you like to tell us something about that? Yes. Today we're launching our energy company portal. You can find them on Sitra's energy program website. It's targeted at companies pre-seed and growth companies who are seeking funding. The portal helps them to find funding from Sitra, but also from private investors, business angels, etc. in Finland and in Europe. We try to help the companies to grow and find cooperation and become more international. Yes, it's very important for all of us to enhance cooperation. What sort of cooperation do you have with your partners? Well, cooperation is in fact a necessity for creating results. Here in Finland we have a number of projects ongoing in the field of energy, but to harness the resources in the best possible way, cooperation gives us the best framework for looking forwards. We are very happy to get involved in projects with stakeholders, and we are involved in numerous projects. Through this continuous dialogue, we can ensure that we are targeting our common resources in line with our common goals. We have an international energy table round energy efficiency roundtable concept coming up, and we're seeking international best practices with the help of this roundtable from all the areas where we cooperate. Thank you. Now we have an excellent opportunity to close the seminar in good time, but before that, we can take a couple of questions from the audience, since we at this point don't have any SMS questions. Would you like to ask anything from our team? If we don't have any further questions, I would like to thank the team. And to end, I would like to emphasize that a lot is already going on throughout the world. We do have a lot of competence. Sitra wants to encourage everyone, encourage Finland to take action and take advantage of this good competence and good thoughts. I would like to thank all our speakers and the audience for the seminar. Now it's time to move outside the meeting venue and continue with our discussion on these themes. Our team is there also, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
For the seminar, now buffet is waiting for us. Thank you.